Hello everybody, Iain Robson here, welcome back to an episode of FS19 Ravenport. So you notice that in the top right hand corner I have $200 and some odd $1,000, and we mentioned that we wanted to push towards some Slurry, and we're going to do that today because I have Slurry sitting there. Basically I'm wasting money. It's not a whole lot of money actually. I was just looking at the cost of things. Where's my fertilizer costs here? So when I fertilized my field last time, it was, let's say, $3,200 basically. So at $3,200 to fertilize my field. So over the course of, it'd have to be a lot of fertilization. So like I'm spending $180,000 on this. So it would take me quite a few times to make that money back. Having said that though, it's already sitting there. It's free money basically. So we're gonna go ahead and get the Premium Integral 2. I could go for this one actually. I just don't have the tractor horsepower for that. I'd have to upgrade my tractor. I don't think I could even afford that. Let's see, large tractor. I need at least 350 horsepower. So I am a little shy of one of the. I could get this one actually, but then that's the only thing I could get. So I could get that one. I probably will get that just for some cheap horsepower, to be honest with you. And the Fendt 900s, 939, not quite 400 horsepower. And then the other option is the John Deere 8RT with a wheel weight, or well, doesn't really matter. And then the engine horsepower 420. So not a huge engine, but I'm paying almost double. Wow, another 100,000 more basically for that. All right, let's go ahead and get this. We can always get that later on. 34,000 liters versus 30,000 liters. The only difference really is you can get this, and then you could add the cultivator attachment, which is a 7-meter cultivator attachment. And so it's the this plus this, or you can add, I think the TD can go on it too. Yeah, the TD12, which is a 12-meter liquid manure application spreader, or you can put the SBH 436, which is a 36-meter wide spreader with an operating speed of 17 kilometers an hour. So we're gonna go with this because it's got the whole package basically, because I'd have to buy this for $185,000 and then this, which brings me up to like $230,000 for that, for an extra 6 meters basically. So let's go ahead and get this. Do we want Trelleborgs or Nokian tires? I think we'll go for Nokian tires just because I don't think I've ever had it there. I think they're supposed to be narrow tires. So that's just a standard, Trelleborgs flotation tires, and then if you add the Trelleborgs or Nokians, they're considered narrow tires. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that. Go ahead and buy that. Yes, for $166,000. And we still have $80,000 left, which is fantastic. Let's go ahead and grab that from the shop, and we'll be back in a second here. All right. So we made it to the shop here. Let's go ahead and take a look at our brand new purchase. Looks pretty good. I like it with the Nokian tires actually. Looks a bit funny, to be honest with you, but I guess they're considered narrow tires, so there you go. And the reason why I went this way is because I already have a couple other fertilizer spreaders, to be completely honest. But like I said before, over time this is going to pay off. Like, it's going to take a lot of fertilizer applications for this to pay off. But considering we have it as a byproduct of our BGA, we're running our BGA relatively consistently. It might be a nice way of kind of saving some money. Alright, just made it to a BGA here, and I'm going to go see how much Slurry we have, or digestate it is technically. So we have 800,000 liters. So that's the reason why I wanted to try and start using this. So I used about 100,000 liters not too long ago, so this is kind of doesn't take much for it to kind of add up, let's say. And it's pretty close here, so because my field here is field 8, this is awfully close to it, so that's the other bonus to it as well. So anyways, what we're going to do is Country Gaming actually needs to fertilize her field right here, field 6, and I'm going to go ahead and give her a hand. So go ahead and head over there and fertilize her field. Got a little road here. I'm gonna go to the end there because she's putting lime down. I don't know if I can see over the lime though. That might be the one problem. So let's go start on this side then. There we go. And the nice things about the liquid fertilizer or the slurry application equipment is that you see the edges, so you're not guessing where it is. All right, let's. Our application speed is 17. So the one thing that I suspect will happen is we'll run out of for slurry or digest it quickly. But we're doing a 30-meter swath, so I'm not too surprised. I wouldn't be too surprised by that. Well, it looks like Spud's joining in here. I'll just pause it here for a quick sec. All right, Spud just joined there. So it's not too bad. So this is where it would be nice to have that. It'd be nice to have the.
Oh, sorry, I had to restart Discord.
What's that, Spud?
Well, I had to restart my Discord.
Oh, okay, I see. But yeah, it looks like the application rate on this isn't quite as fast as it used to be. Doesn't seem to be, at least. It's hard to tell. But I did try the Joskin, I think it was 12 or 18 meter one. And it was you could do quite a few passes with it. Now that was only like a 12 meter one, so that's probably why it wasn't quite as using the digestate quite as fast, but I just wanted to test it out. Now that interesting thing I'm not sure about yet with this is if my my colleagues, I don't know why I said colleagues, but if like Spudboy, for example, or Country Gamer could use this, I don't know if they can draw from that BGA. That's the part I'm not sure about. They might be able to, for all I know. So looking good, looking good. It's even easier to tell when you have just the straw down, so, or just the chaff, I should say. The chaff disappears. Now Liz over there is working with the lime, so I'm not going to make a big difference for her if I do this, because I believe if we look on the field, it'll show. If I take the lime off, it'll show the fertilization. If I take the fertilization off, it'll show the lime, basically. So one way or another. Now, one thing you can do is you can hire a worker, but turn the buy feature off, so that then you just manually refill the worker, so they're more efficient. But it's not too bad, actually, for this. If you wanted to be as efficient as possible with this the spreader, but it's not too bad, really. Now, what I could do is hire a worker and at some point shuttle slurry back and forth with my other tractor. That could work too. Well, I almost got 2 passes there, because there is some other slurry equipment there. So, for example, I could put a field edge container there. That's only 25 grand. It holds 55,000 liters. And then could get something like that to transport it back and forth, or, well, that could work, I suppose. I don't know if this can transport. I don't think it can by itself. So yeah, I could transport with something like that, for example. Get a dolly and then have it go back and forth. But that works, but the problem you run into in that situation is the fact that it's doing it all by yourself isn't the best thing, isn't the greatest way. And this way, I'm pretty close to my BGA anyway, so it's not a big deal regardless. Alright, just finishing up the last pass here on Liz's field. This will be the last little bit of fertilization. So it only took, in the end, it only took about, I had to go back to the BGA twice to refill. So it's not too bad. It's a medium-sized field, I guess. So it's not too bad. So I think my field would probably take somewhere in the same neck of the woods, like 2 or 3 loads, I would say. Well, that would be my guess, at least. Somewhere in that area. It's funny, it's just not quite wide enough to get all of this.
Now, if I don't cultivate where you've been...
It still fertilizes.
Yeah, but I'm only going to get 50... It's only going to show up as 50% fertilized.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you're going to have to cultivate to get the second stage.
To get the 100%.
Yep, yeah, exactly. There we go. Last little bit there. I think I'm going to clean up the go. Do a little turn, get that last little bit there. Got a little bit of extra in the tank anyway, so might as well use the rest of it up. I guess that's probably what people would do in the end anyways. If they had a little bit of slurry left in the tank. I don't think they leave slurry in the tank, just because it's probably not great for the tank itself, I would imagine at least. So, at least that's my thought. Now we still have some money, so we could buy something else. Now I think the goal, one of the thoughts was to go to a corn planter at some point in the near future, so that we could plant corn and harvest corn, or do silage of corn, just to see what the difference is in terms of yield. I suspect it would be higher. I just don't know how much higher. Here we go. How does that look? Oh, not too bad. Let's go ahead and take that back and move on to the next task at hand.